All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner talking Giants with your New York Giants Week 1 film review. We're reviewing the film of a 40-0 loss because we love this damn game. We love this Giants team. Going through 24 plays. This is heavily slanted towards the offense because there's a lot of issues. And there's some good things in there, like you're seeing some of the run stuff. I thought the run game was well, and I want to talk about that and how the Giants can, operate their offense going forward. If you want to just see the offensive line get blown up play after play, go watch the offensive line report that's on the channel. So like and subscribe. We'll get to all of it, talk about it, talk through it, what went wrong, what went right, how you can change things. Let's get into it. Like and subscribe. All right, so first drive of the game, and they moved the ball down the field, and there was good run blocking, right? So you motion Bellinger into the backfield. He's operating as your fullback, H-back this season. Going to run some counter. Nice run. So on the front side, you're going to have Andrew Thomas and Ben Bredesen combo block. So they combo, bam. Andrew Thomas peels off onto the linebacker. Good job. JMS is going to down block on this, and then you're going to have Mark Lewinsky pull. He's going to be a kick out block. So you want to get to the inside shoulder of Micah Parsons. He does a good job doing that. And then Bellinger's your lead blocker. Now, we want to see him get to the inside of Van Der Esch. You want your helmet instead of on the outside shoulder on the inside. But overall, this is a fairly well blocked play, right? Like essentially that's the only issue with this. And you've got Saquon meeting the safety, right? The deep safety. Like when you draw this up on the whiteboard, and I said this earlier, this is the matchup that you're planning to get, and that's what they got. Even though Van Der Esch is getting off of this, but overall, like that's still a good run. Like runs don't get blocked perfectly, and that's why you don't have a one-on-one with the safety every single time. Next play, they're gonna run a run call duo, which is creating as many double teams as possible on the line of scrimmage, and the running back is reading the Mike linebacker through the A gap to bounce. So we got double team, and then you got Bellinger scraping back. Parsons does a good job coming over the top on this, but Bellinger at least goes and finds work. But you want to stay on these doubles as long as you can. So you see, we're staying on this as long as we can until you're up into that linebacker. And then JMS and Mark Lewinsky, I talked about this on Play on the Offensive Line Report. This is great. We're shoulder to shoulder. We're working our feet. Good base. JMS comes off the linebacker. Good stuff. Saquon is reading this linebacker. Press it. Cut. Again, Parsons is able to get off, but you're meeting with that safety. That's what you want. Now they get into this funky formation where you got Bellinger, Brightwell, Saquon. They're all in a three-point stance. You got an extra tackle over here. 3rd and 2. They were looking for a sneak. They're looking for right up the gut. And you just zone them. Wide zone them. So because they got all their weight in the middle, you got paired on a linebacker, Neal on a DB. Bellinger is a lead block. He gets to that outside shoulder. Bam! Bam! That's a hole for Saquon Barkley to go. And again, we're putting this matchup on the whiteboard. This is what we want to get to. Guy tackles him, but still a first down. Even though it's like you want to break those. Now, let's have a conversation. I put a little social media clip up about this. If you haven't seen it, excuse me for if you have seen it, excuse me for repeating myself. You're going to see this in another play we go through. If you watch, this is an RPO. We're trying to throw the fade to Slayton. And the Cowboys just don't play. And this could very much be a Cowboys-specific game plan because they play aggressive and they have the dogs up front to be aggressive like this. And they like to play man coverage. But if teams are not going to respect your play action, especially on first down, which looked like a trend, then you're going to have to start handing it off. You're going to have to get to a team that's running on 1st and 10. because they're not. This is not playing the run, right? Like if you're coaching up defending the run from the Cowboys point of view, you got to take on this puller. But like he's unblocked on purpose. None of these two guys messed up. He's unblocked because you're expecting him to stay down the line, and then Bredesen picks it up. Like you're kind of expecting him to play that run, and then it's just a quick like predetermined. You're throwing this. You got the look you want, but instead he's getting hit. Now, if you know that this is going to be a pass tag, you can tell Bredesen to get deep on this. But if this is a true RPO where the run, the R is a part of that, well, then you can't have Bredesen get this deep because the linebacker is going to come and spill inside. But I'm telling you, the end usually, when you're talking about defending the run, what he's supposed to do is get squeezed down, and then depending on what type of run fit they're doing, where if they want the linebacker over top, he'll spill inside. If they want the linebacker to fill the inside gap, he'll lever on the outside. But this is the way they played, and we're going to look at an inline read option that they ran, where they just ran straight at the quarterback, right? And they kind of have the speed and the get off on their D line to penetrate and do those type of things. So again, I don't know if Arizona and all these other teams are going to play the Giants the way that Dallas does. But if they do, and it's kind of like keying in on their play action and stuff, well, then you got to start handing the ball off more. And I mean, Dallas's front is nuts. All right, defense. This is that first third down of the game. You're going to see they're going to run a rub. The Giants lost this game, and they were always going to lose this game. This is an offensive pass interference, though. You can't, and we've seen the Giants get called for this stuff. You can't just run through a defender like that. And I'm surprised. I mean, I've seen the Giants get called for this type of stuff. You can't be that blatant with it. But it is smart by Dallas, if it's not going to get called, to put this in a 3-by-1 set. So you got trips left. And also when you're playing, so if this was just a 2-by-2 set and you just had two receivers down here, you could do a banjo coverage, which is you're switching, right? So let's just pretend these two players aren't here and they're on the other side. What you could do is you see what they're doing. If any wide receiver gets flat, they're doing a switch release. So you can have Hawkins pick this up, and then Adore would take this. So you'd have Adore keep staying on the inside, and then you would have Hawkins running with this, which is called a banjo coverage split. But when it's trips, and especially with two rookie corners right here, that's a lot of communication. That's a lot of trust to be doing that type of stuff, right? Where it's like with these rookie corners, you want to be like, hey, just play man when you got those 3-by-1 sets. 3-by-1 meaning three receivers and then one receiver on the other side. But that is a rub route. And then McKinney, who I thought played really well, just misses it. CeeDee Lamb owned Adore Jackson, and that's basically the third. It's the one player who's consistently been able to take care of Adore Jackson, or Adore Jackson hasn't been able to take care of. All right, now they're getting in the red zone. This is the play that Banks and Adore Jackson break up the corner from the tight end. Giants also, I've noticed, they live at a single high safety in the middle of the field. When you get within the 10-yard line, that's when they like to put their, obviously it's not high because you're in the red area, but where you're not, stacking these boxes. So you got these two safeties. The Giants are running a quarters coverage, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dallas is running a smash concept where you've got, a two-man right here. So Dak is reading Deontay Banks staying with this. So he's going to throw this corner, trying to get timing on it. And then if you guys watch my film breakdown on Deontay Banks in the first round, he made a play now it wasn't in the red zone, but he's got good eyes, man. When he can get his eyes on the ball and just play instinctive and zone coverages, which this is, you see him make freak athlete plays like this. If you're really bored when you're done with this, go watch the film breakdown of him in Maryland, and he makes a play just like this. Now with more space, but this is just good eyes reading this, go and make a play on it. You'll see it from the other angle. Good job of anticipating this with McKinney. Keeping inside leverage. Turn. Run. Fight for inside leverage here. Let's see it from the other angle. Also, we're not going to be looking at Kayvon and stuff because they didn't run a lot of true pass sets. And Dan Schneider pointed this out, and I retweeted him because if there's one thing I learned from the film that changed my opinion is that Kayvon didn't have a bad game. They just didn't pass the ball like this a lot. But Kayvon played very well versus the run. Anyways, you see, I mean, this is really good coverage by McKinney, and then Banks coming in and making a play. And then this next play, like, been of my favorite play by McKinney. And this is, like, another reason why, like, I'm glad he's not wearing the green dot, where he can just make plays and think about his responsibility. How many times have we seen, especially versus Dallas, where you get into the 2-yard line and they motion the receiver across the line, there's traffic, and they're getting an easy touchdown to the flats. And that's what this was going to be. Like, as soon as, and I remember watching it live, at this point right here, I'm saying CeeDee Lamb touchdown. That's exactly what it's going to be. I've seen it a million times before. Because you have man coverage, so Adore's got to get all the way across the formation and run with this and cut this off. It's just a hard ask. But Xavier McKinney makes a great play. Xavier McKinney stops this from being a touchdown. This is the type of stuff. You got him lined up on the edge and bang and bust him up. Bam! And that slows it down enough for Adore to get here, right? Because that's where Dak was going. Dak was going there until McKinney busted up, and now Dak's got to get off of it and then finish, mess up the throw. Good, like, really good stuff by McKinney. We'll see it from the other angle. Just that little bit. Bam. That's enough for Adore to get the angle. You've got good man coverage here with Banks. Good man coverage with Hawkins. I will say, if this ball gets out cleanly, Pinnock, you're manned up on Jake Ferguson. Great job by rerouting him by Okereke. Go. 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 Because you're hesitating right now. You're looking at Dak. And if that ball goes out cleanly, that might get completed for a touchdown. Maybe not either, but overall just good team defense. All right, we're back on offense. This is the first pick 6 of Daniel Jones' career. This is 3rd and long. I got 3rd and 18. Touchdown. You guys have probably already seen this play on social media. This is where there's not much worry about Dan. To me, specifically, I don't come out of this game being like, oh, man, I'm worried about Daniel Jones. The pressure was relentless. If you watch the offensive line report, it was relentless. There's mistakes that Daniel Jones made, and we're going to go through them, including this one. But, like, there wasn't, these big plays that were passed up, and there was a couple inaccurate throws. We know he's mostly accurate. It was pouring rain. Dak was missing a few throws, too, despite, winning the game by 40 points. But this is the play that worries me. Because this was coming out of last year, where we would go through these film reviews. You guys watch these film reviews with me. There was not much to clean up from Daniel Jones. Right? And you go through even the best quarterbacks. You go through their games, like, you got to clean up this, and that. Besides, like, minor details. But, like, major, like, you should have thrown it here type of stuff. This is one. 3rd and 18. You're reading this defender, right? Like, they did not run this to not throw it. You are reading this defender. And because it's 3rd and 18, DJ pre-snap is expecting him, even if they are in this cover 2, which they are, or this Tampa 2, you see the linebacker bailing, Diggs playing the flats. You're not really expecting him to cloud this too much. You're expecting him to kind of, give cushion and sit and get deep with this. Instead, it's a predetermined, like, hey, this is probably what they're going to do. I'm going to do it. You check it down to Saquon. Saquon gets hits and bobbles it up. Saquon's got to catch that or not bobble it up, right? So I'm not blaming him for that, right? But, man, when you're playing this 2-man game on this whole shot right here, it's not going to be more of a defined look than this. And, again, it's from the far hash. I understand that. That's a throw you got to make. That's a throw I've seen him make in past years. But that's a throw you got to at least attempt. Because right now, that is as well defined. That's as easy as that read is ever going to get for you. His feet are flat. He is sitting on this. Like, in all honesty, at this point right here, you should be like, okay, I'm pulling it on this. Instead, it was predetermined, and you have a pick six. All right, so now the Giants get the ball back. They get 2 rushes. It's 3rd and 2. Like, they didn't give up on the run as much as people may make it out to be that they did. You get 3rd and 2, and you do this QB sweep. This may be my most, like, if it works, it's awesome. If it's bad, like, you know, Monday morning quarterbacking play of this. But you just don't have the numbers over here. Like, Waller's going to block down on this. Slayton's blocking down on this. But this, you know, it's just you're trying to get out on the edges, and you don't have 14. Like, again, who is accounting for number 14? Because Waller's here. Slayton's here. Unless it's Saquon is supposed to, like, unless Saquon is supposed to read this, and maybe he was. You know, like, if Saquon's supposed to wrap up on this, and that could be, like, a real possibility. I just don't like this play call. But also on DJ. Like, you see how you got all this action over here? You've got a backside 3-eye, a linebacker lined up on the tackle. You've got 3 for 3 here. You need 2 yards. I hate being the check in this guy because there's just so much that we don't like. There's so much that we don't know from the outside in on what their freedom is, what is, you know, what they're allowed to do, what is built into type of stuff. But if there's ever one, man, it's, I mean, you get Thomas blocking out here, combo to this backer. I mean, again, you only need 2 yards, right? So even if this guy holds these 2 and doesn't allow them to get to the linebacker, you're still probably getting a couple yards. And instead, you turn a 3rd and 2 into a 4th and 5. So that's probably my most Monday morning quarterback play on this. Back on the defensive side, I know this is more offensive driven. This was just a play where I thought it was a great run fit. And honestly, you have Jihad Ward, Kayvon, you have Jordan Riley, Rakeem Nunez-Roches, Isaiah Simmons. I thought this was just a great run fit from, like, everybody involved in here. Everybody involved, great run fit. We'll start with McKinney, the safety. I mean, watch him take on this guard, right? And lever is when you're taking the outside shoulder versus a pull. Spill is when you take the inside shoulder. I mean, that's how you fucking do it. Bam! And that's why I thought McKinney had a great game. Again, Jihad Ward, Nacho, getting hands-on, reading, getting out here. And then Isaiah Simmons, who didn't get a ton of stack linebacker reps. We play up into it. Use your hands. Disengage. Dip. You're there on the run stop. Okerike's playing his keys. I just thought it was a good, well-defend run play, and I wanted to throw that in there. Here is a 4th and 2 conversion the Giants gave up, and this is pretty interesting. I meant to keep the motion in this, but they motioned the back out. Sorry that I didn't clip it, but they motioned the back out here, and this is Bobby Okerike. So Bobby Okerike followed him. Oh, I think they motioned the back in. No, they don't. Sorry. But anyways, that's an ID for the offense that it's a man coverage. If a linebacker chases out, that's kind of like their tail. It's a man coverage. So you would, if you're Dallas, you're assuming manned up here, man, and then you're going to assume one of these safeties is going to fly down and play the robber, the other one will play center field. The Giants don't do that. They turn this into like a cover 2, right? Which is a good, like, disguised look. But for QB like that, and it makes it an easy read because Trey Hawkins becomes this middle field player. Like, he can't come off of this. And then if he's playing, you know, Odor is playing the curl slot area right here, like, he kind of has to pass that off in case this defender turns this into a drag. But also, I feel like maybe Adore messed this up, right? Because there's no threat out here for Banks to stay with the flats, right? So you turn your zone into man. So maybe Adore messed this up because he's just playing like a zone right here, right? Like it's not like he didn't get like schooled by this receiver. He's just playing a zone. So maybe he messed this up where you're supposed to like, kind of turn this into a man look. But it is zone, right? Like you see Simmons down here. He's playing the same type of zone as Adore, just on the opposite side. And then you got the two safeties. But he just kind of passes it off. But when you have this to take care of, Hawkins has to take care of that. Hawkins comes off and make it a tackle. I'll show it from the other angle. I was also very weirded out. Watch, Hawkins celebrates this. It's a nice hit. I love the physicality from Trey Hawkins, but they just converted a first down. You couldn't get off the field on fourth down. I don't know what you're celebrating that for. I love the physicality, but just kind of weird. So I don't know. If there was one question I could ask Wink Martindale about this game, that would be it. Like, what happened on this play? All right, back on offense. This is the second Daniel Jones interception. Low snap messes up the timing on this a little bit. So at first I was like, I have no idea what Daniel Jones was doing on this. Now I do know. I don't agree with it. I still think it's a very bad decision, but I do know. He is looking for Waller. And this is first down. It'd be one thing if this was third down. So he's looking for Waller, right? Waller kind of starts coming back to the ball. But Waller's at this point like, okay. But DJ just throws it to him, right? But Waller stops. Because Waller's like, okay, he's running out of bounds. He's throwing, like you see DJ pumps and then throws it. Like when Waller saw that pump, he's thinking, okay, he's pumping it and then throwing it out of bounds. So Waller pulls up. So that's what he was thinking. I still think it's really stupid, but now I at least understand it. Where on the broadcast, it was hard to figure out. But we talked about this on the offensive line report. JMS gets beat by Micah Parsons on this and flushes DJ out of the pocket. But also it's a low snap, man. And it may not seem like much, but on quick game stuff where you have Saquon on this choice route right here, like with this is where the ball's supposed to go, to Saquon. It's flushing DJ out of the pocket. Now DJ is still thinking, like, we can still throw this. We can still throw this right here, too. But the low snap does mess up some of the timing on the stuff, and there's another play where that happens. But that's just like an unexcusable interception for Daniel Jones. We'll see it from this angle. See how DJ's crouching down for that? It forces him to like click feet. It just messes up footwork and timing, especially in the quick game. But we can still throw this. Because you see Waller coming back to the ball. That's what he's looking at. But that's reckless type of stuff. That's like practice, might as well throw it type of stuff. You don't want to see that. Next play, 3rd and 1. Just well-designed RPO here. This DB blitzes. Waller does enough vertical sell to turn this into a little flat, to a little out route. DJ Waller getting crushed. Gets it out there. First down. Simple type of stuff. If this DB, because you have 3 for 3 right here. Let's just say, you have him manned up on Bellinger or whatever, and then these two are man. Well, then DJ could just run out here for a first down. But he doesn't. He throws it. Good stuff. Next play, what do we have? This is another one. Oh, this one should have been an interception. So you motion Slayton. You got a 3-by-1 over here. And you're running a levels concept, right? Where you have 3 levels, right? 1, 2, 3. Hodgins is the first read on this. Now Neal gives up the corner, so DJ steps up into this, right? And his footwork is like he's not able to reset his feet. You have the blitzer over here, but it's still a really bad throw because he has Hodgins, right? It's a good decision. He's reading this player's leverage. His leverage stays outside. You got it. But he just overthrew it. We'll see it from the other angle. Shows it better. But it's a good decision. Step up. And just sails it over him. And Malik Hooker drops the ball. Next play. So that's just like not a decision. That's just accuracy stuff. Next play. What do we have? 4th and 5. Interesting play design on this. So this is the one to Waller. Impressive throw. So they motion Waller over here. This looks like a mesh formation, right? And at this point, you're thinking this is mesh. Where it's either like you have, these two where it's like a drag here, or you would have Bellinger sit here and then have Slayton and Waller mesh. Slayton, though, kind of shows this as mesh and then turns this deep. I do think this was designed to be a shot play on 4th down to like show them mesh, which is a play that the Giants ran a lot on 3rd down last year. Like to get this over here. They tried to do that with Wandale a couple times versus Detroit last year before he got injured, actually, too. But it's pressure, which is the story of the freaking night. Good job by improvising, though, with DJ. You're going to see off-platform throw. Nice high point from Waller. Just good job keeping the play alive, right? You can maybe say, hey, sit in this pocket. But at this point, like, Slayton's stumbling a little bit, too. So I don't blame him at all for getting outside the pocket. And you just see off platform, thrown the other way. High, but hey, you got Darren Waller, comes down with it. Nice 4th down conversion. I think the Giants are like 4 for 5 on 4th down. It's like the one positive takeaway from this game. And this is frustrating, right? Like you get that 4th down, you get down to the 14-yard line, 1st and 10. And this is where it's like protection, man. Just watch Evan Neal. 1st and 10. This would have been a nice gain too. But you get your ass kicked by Dorrance Armstrong. Right? And hey, this is a concept they like. You've got the post with Jalen Hyatt. You got the wheel with Darren Waller. Diggs takes it over the top. This should be easy. You throw it to Paris Campbell. He gets 5 yards, maybe breaks a tackle and gets 10 yards, and you either have a 2nd and short or a 1st down. But instead, now we're in the red zone and we have 2nd and 15. And with the way how relentless this pass rush is, it's not in a good situation. Now you get into 3rd and 15 on the same series. This is another mess up by DJ. Even though I don't know if this even gets converted to a 1st down, but maybe puts you into a 4th down, go for it range. So they have 2 high safeties, right? 2 high safeties. You got all this middle of the field. You want to get this ball to Waller, right? So it shows an outside release. You get that leverage. You get him on the slant. But they rotate this into a cover 3 buzz, where this safety buzzes down and takes this zone. So DJ wants to throw this to Waller, holds it, glad he held it. But this should have been a completion to Paris Campbell, and we'll see it from the other view. What you should be reading here is not just the leverage of this corner. You should be seeing this safety rotating down. Should be seeing this as soon as you see this safety rotating down, you should be turning to see what they're doing on this side. If they're man matching, which they are, which means that they're turning this into play outside leverage, cover the deep, and instead it's a 1 yard gain. Like you should see as soon as you see this coming down, turn. And you've got Campbell over here. And, may not get a 1st down, but might put you in 4th down territory. Instead, you get locked on trying to get Waller, and you see the safety rotating way too late. Thankfully, it's not an interception. And you end up missing a field goal. Let's see. What do we have here? Here's towards the end of the half. Again, running a post-wheel concept with Hyatt and Waller. It's a lot of speed. Size with Waller. Hyatt on the post. Waller on the wheel. You keep protection in because you want to get there. And Boy, oh boy, does Hyatt get open on the post. And let's look before he starts to adjust to the throw. Look at all this space. You don't think Hyatt could have gotten this to the 45 and put you in field goal range? And I get. And the ball's just behind Hyatt. There's no pressure. This is as clean as a pocket, as a platform to throw off you is ever going to get. I mean, lined up directly. So, I mean, you got to get used to that Hyatt speed. Get used to throwing to Isaiah Hodge and stuff, but you got to get used to that Hyatt speed, man. Because if you put this in front of him, there's a lot of green grass. There's a lot of green grass to run with. Defensively, all right, 6 more plays. Make sure to like and subscribe. I don't think Michael McFadden has as good as a game as being made out. I thought he wasn't like a liability, but I thought there was just times where it's like he just didn't fit in the run as good as he could have. So they're bringing this tight end, they're running counter across the line, which means you should be reading that, and when you have McKinney backside, that means your gap goes from here to here. Right? Aziz is playing the outside of that. And Okereke sees it, right? Okereke sees what they're doing. So his gap goes from here to outside of the tackle. Okereke plays it right. And then McKinney is going to fill what McFadden's gap would be. McKinney should be filling into here. But instead, you've got your eyes on the back and not seeing this come across, and you're reading it late. Where if you read that, and you could take your steps here and then bam. And then trust that McKinney fills that gap. That could have been a 2-yard gain instead of a 7 or 8-yard gain or whatever it was. Next play, you got 3rd and 2. 5-man front, that bear front. This was just how you know it was Dallas's night. So you have the 5-man front. Your edges show, at least Kayvon shows he's going to rush the passer and then drop back into this lane. Like, because you know he's going to CD, right? So Adoree Jackson plays outside leverage on purpose. We want to funnel him inside because we know we're going to have help right here. Like Okereke is going to rotate over and cover this tight end. And with the front that they get versus empty, they're trying to get the ball out quickly. And it just zips over Kayvon's head. Like, just as unfortunate. And this isn't like Kayvon should have made a play on it. This was like, you would expect Dak, who's a smart quarterback, to just not even throw this. But it's a good ballsy throw, puts it on him, and it just gets it in there with a tight window. Like, that's just kind of like, I like that schematic stuff. It's just unfortunate on a 3rd and short. Next, the last defensive play. Again, I didn't think it was a great fit by McFadden on this. Now, I want to see Okereke get off this block, even though he's held. Big run for Tony Pollard. Again, running counter. So you got they're kicking out Kayvon. So he reads the keys, but this is A'Shawn Robinson's gap right here. Get to the outside shoulder of this tight end. Get to the outside shoulder of it. Right? And Okereke gets held. I'd like him to show more power and just put this tight end on his ass and push that outside shoulder. But now this gap is unaccounted for. Right? So in reality, it's like you should be, Kayvon's got this. Pinnock is going to fill and take the outside shoulder here. Okereke should be in this gap, which is the inside shoulder of this player, outside shoulder of this. McFadden should be in here, and then A'Shawn has this covered. And instead, that gap is left open, and Pollard gets a big run. Biggest run of the night. Also, all right, back on the offense. This is what I was talking about, where they just did not respect their run keys, and they were just like, hey, let's get after the quarterback. Like, they run this. Like, as a defensive player, when you're left unblocked, you're not taught run after the quarterback as fast as you can, which he doesn't necessarily do on this. You're taught to look down here and either, again, lever, which is taking the outside shoulder, or spill, take the inside shoulder, depending on what your scheme is. But he just gets upfield and he moves so well, and he tackles DJ. Right? Where Bredeson's out here. And hey, next time you're playing Dallas, you say you can do a couple of things. One, you could be like, hey, get a deeper track on this. Get a deeper track on this. But even if you do that, then Parsons could take it inside. I think the best way to do it is to sacrifice a little bit on this side, where you have Bellinger block down on this. Block down on this and then move off to this player. Just occupy Parsons for a second. Make him think you're at least trying to block him. And that keeps him from getting upfield and doing that stuff. So there's a lot of I think there's a lot of the next time we play Dallas, I'm not predicting a win. I'm sure as hell not predicting a win. But I think there's a lot of things you can do differently with what Dallas threw at you. Here, I thought this was pretty interesting. This is a nice run by Saquon. Nice, well-blocked play. I'm more interested, really, in what Dallas did. And this is a 1st and 10. And this is where it's like they kind of were ready for that 1st and 10 play action under center. Watch Leighton Vander Esch. He's bailing. He's bailing before the run. Like, it's not even a play action. He's handing the ball off. He's bailing. He's bailing. He's trying to play. He's like trying to stop play action. And then you have Campbell. Occupies him over here. They were booting off of it, so they were ready for this play action type of stuff. And this is well blocked, right? You got Thomas does a great job out here. Good work with Bredesen and JMS. I talked about this on the O-line report. JMS could have done a little better, but it's a good enough block. Bredesen gets to the outside shoulder. But look at this linebacker. Saquon has the ball, is running to this. And look at this linebacker. He's running away from it. He's running away from it. So they were ready for this Giants play action. To where now, the question is going into year 2, you have a whole year of film on the Giants. What are teams going to be ready for? And the answer is that play action. Now, week 1 can be a little different, where you have so much prep time. And I know that the Cardinals don't just start prepping for this week for the Giants. They have put together at least a fundamental game plan for this months ago. And what Dallas has talent-wise is a lot different than a lot of teams in the NFL. So, but this is what they watch a lot of that. I mean, obviously they watch a lot of film. No shit. But they were on to some of the Giants stuff, man. And even times where they spooked themselves, where you got Leighton Vander Esch bailing. You have a linebacker who's a second into the run is running the opposite way. So interesting stuff there. And then last play, again, low. I talked about this on the O-line report. I would talk about the low snap. You got a low snap from JMS. It messes up the timing. Watch DJ's footwork. See how he skips back into his. That's not what it's supposed to look like. But it's a low snap, so it messes up the timing. You've got a stacked alignment. You saw this a little bit in the preseason game where Waller got open. I think it was the first play of the preseason, where you have it stacked right here. You show this outside track. You force this corner to commit, bail in, open, inside, and DJ just misses. And I think DJ still needs to make this throw regardless of the timing and footwork being off. It's an easy enough throw. But, again, it just gets you, and especially with this Dallas pass rush. See how we're, in reality, it would be a 3-step drop. Where 1, 2, 3. Instead, I'm crouching, I'm taking 1 step, and then I'm skipping back. I'm skipping back, and I know it seems little, and he misses the throw. So I know we lost 16-0, or 16-0. God, we're gonna go 16-0 the rest of the season, 40-0. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did watch to the end, you're probably already subscribed and liked. But if you haven't, I would appreciate that. Check out the rest of the channel. We got an offensive line film review out this morning. the game recap podcast, and we'll have a mailbag pod out, which I think will be, I always think is our best pod, even if it's our least listened to, because it's like when, hey, I get to talk about this film and answer questions and dispel narratives and stuff. So appreciate you guys. See you on the next one. Let's go Big Blue.